Okay, hi, Judy. Nice to see you. Looks like a nice warm day there in Jerusalem.
It's certainly beautiful here, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was looking back when we met, and it was at the end of April. I can't believe how many months have went by. And you contacted me because you had some various physical challenges. And so we just went to bat together to do a little bit of research and see what we could do for you. So can you share with us what happened, when you called me? What were you looking to achieve?
Sure, yeah. So basically for years, ever since I was a young teenager, I was diagnosed with what's called PCOS, and that's basically a hormonal imbalance in your body. And a few of the larger side effects are just really inconsistent periods, and then also weight gain. And it was something that I dealt with for a really long time. And I had tried certain medications, and it just threw off my body completely. I really didn't like how I felt on traditional medication. Went
What,
off that and just
what were the medications doing that you were taking?
well, they had put me on metformin, which is actually also used for diabetes,
Yeah.
and it was really strong, and my body just reacted to every side effect in the book. Um, it it was just odd. It made me feel not myself. It made me feel actually even a bit more stressed out. It put a lot of pressure, I felt. And that was something I tried in college while seeing a nutritionist, while seeing a doctor, while trying to handle this issue, and just felt like I wasn't going anywhere. I was working so hard, and just my body just wasn't responding properly. And even the nutritionist was saying, I don't understand why you're not losing weight. I don't understand why you're not, why your body is not responding in the way that it should be responding. And so honestly, I felt like pretty helpless. And I one day was speaking to a mutual friend of ours, and she was like, listen, you have to talk to Jody about doTERRA. You have to see what all this natural medicine can do for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, might as well give it a shot. So
Nothing to lose but a bunch of symptoms.
right, honestly, exactly.
So what happened? What was your next step? You called me and I recommended, I believe, how the first step, clear the rubble away and begin to prepare to build your house, a healthy house, right?
Definitely. Yeah. And I think that was something I hadn't really considered before, actually, just trying to clear out all the bad before trying to put in all the good. And so, yeah, so you recommended that I order the Cleanse and Restore kit and also add some spearmint to that, just to start working on cleansing my blood of all of the sugars and yeasts and things that might have gotten stuck, which of course would also be affecting my period. At the point that I turned to you, I hadn't had a period for almost 6 months, and that was some of the longest time that I'd ever gone. But I figured there has to be something inside of me that can change with these products. So ordered the Cleanse and Restore kit, and then got to work on making a chart and getting a box that would help me organize my days. And that just really got me organized and allowed me to stay focused and disciplined on the program without getting confused between what to take or what not to take. Just get organized, simple. Every week I would just refill my little pill box and know exactly which doTERRA products to take. So that was really helpful.
You did such a good job, Judy, in organizing yourself and making a chart and a calendar. And I was so impressed with your organizational skills. And I was so proud of you. And I felt like you were really, you put your hands to the plow and you began to really be very focused and dietarily. What did you change dietarily? What were some of the things that you gave up in order to gain health? So maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So of course, as we know, helping to heal your body is a process. It's not something that occurs overnight. And while we're getting rid of all of these bad things from our blood, like sugars and yeast, of course, we shouldn't be eating that, just to help the process. So I remember at the beginning, you sort of threw out, oh, maybe something more keto would help you. And I'd kind of heard of it, but didn't really know much about it. So I did some of my own research and was really learning just a lower carb, higher fat, medium protein type diet. And as I was doing research, I was really realizing that it's a lot of this is a mental switch. You know, it's not saying, oh, I can't have all of these things. It's just saying these other things are the right fuel for my body. And that has really helped me stay like focused on eating in that way. So of course, more clean proteins and vegetables, and even less fruits. Of course, no sugars or any snacks like that. And I feel great. I feel full all the time. I'm never awkwardly hungry at midnight. It's just like, you know, grab nuts for snacks and things like that. And it's been helpful. And then of course, tracking things, also using an app to track my foods, just to make sure that I know what I'm eating is really what's good for my body. So those were some of the dietary changes.
Did you have any days where you didn't have energy or you felt kind of sluggish at all on this program? I just was wondering, because sometimes when people are getting rid of poisons, toxins, bacteria, yeast, whatever, they're doing a detoxification, they can actually have some days where they feel less energy. So I was wondering if you experienced that too. Oh, I think we got stuck. Let's see. Let me stop there. Okay, here we go. We got stuck a little bit, but go ahead.
Great. Did you want to re-ask the question?
Yeah. Are there days that you felt like you didn't have energy, that you felt like a slump day? Because when your body is getting rid of poisons and toxins, you can have days where you don't have vibrant energy. We're looking to get to that. But while you're in the process of getting rid of poisons, toxins, yeast, bacterial forms, microorganisms, heavy metals, all the things that the body has to get rid of in order to gain health, you can feel some down days. So I was wondering if you experienced some of that.
Yeah, I definitely, at the beginning of, I would say the first week or two, on the program, I felt like a bit more tired. Yes, it wasn't like overwhelming. And actually, I think probably the Vitality Pack helped to balance that out a bit. That's included, of course, in the Cleanse and Restore. But I think, yeah, the first 2 weeks, I felt like, oi, I guess my body's really getting rid of a lot of stuff. So I took it as a good sign, right? Like, even though I was kind of sluggish, I knew that was part of the beginning of the program. But since then, no, I haven't had, and that was, 2.5 months ago, I think. So since then, no, I really felt a lot better. I haven't felt like I have needed more than 1 cup of coffee a day, and things like that.
Great. And before you started this program with polycystic ovarian syndrome, that's PCOS, that's what that stands for. A lot of times the periods, when you get your menstrual cycle, it would be, a challenge for some people with this diagnosis. So when you had a period, what was it like when you did have your menstrual flow?
Right. So because I would assume, not knowing too much anatomy, but I would assume the fact that I would get it only every 3 to 4 months, and at this point, after half a year, the periods were super heavy, really quite painful, honestly. I would be like taking Advil at least once or twice a day. And just with really heavy flows, I always had to know where the bathroom was to be able to swap. And it was just uncomfortable. It felt like, ugh.
Yeah.
So that was before kind of getting on this kit.
And so after 6 months, you got on this program, and then suddenly you get your menstrual cycle. Yes.
Yeah. So a good first victory, that's for sure.
It's really wonderful. So when you did get your menstrual cycle this time, was it any different? Did you see any changes?
Yeah, actually. And I was honestly, this was probably one of the biggest signs to me that my blood was being cleansed a bit more and my body was feeling healthier, was that that was 3 months ago. And in the past 3 months, I've gotten it consistently, which has been really encouraging.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's it's not yet on like a perfect cycle, but each month for 3 months in a row is something that hasn't happened in years.
Wow.
And
years. Wow.
Now, years. And now it feels much better. This past period I just finished this past week wasn't heavy. I didn't feel gross. There's some emotional ups and downs like every regular period, but in terms of like my body, everything was clean. It was so nice to feel like things were flowing properly.
Did you feel like you had to take Advil?
No, I didn't take 1 Advil the entire period. which was awesome. I was like shocked. I almost forgot that I was on my period certain days before, like until I had to realize, yeah, it was weird.
You know, this is like a really huge victory. And so you're pressing on. What about your weight? What happened with your weight also on this program?
Yeah, so with Cleanse and Restore and with taking back sugar and yeast, I knew that for my own body, that wasn't actually enough to, for me specifically, it wasn't enough to really start losing weight in a way that's more consistent. So with being more keto, meaning just much lower carb, over the past 2.5 months, I've lost, actually without a ton of exercise because I hurt myself, but I lost like 6.5 kilo, which is something like 13 or 14 pounds.
That is so
And
good.
thank God.
Doesn't that feel great?
So it feels like your body is just, it's nice to feel like my body is responding properly to something after so many years of trying a lot, and believe me, a lot of different programs and ways. And it was an issue that was more basic, something that I had to start with in my blood. Like it was an issue that was more basic than just, oh, just don't eat sugar. It was something that was a bit deeper that we had to take care of first, which is, important.
That's really wonderful. And have you gotten any comments from people who know you, have seen you change basically? So what kind of comments
Yeah.
have you gotten?
Apart from my coworkers getting annoyed that I have not had a bite of sugar in like 3 months.
They're convicted. They feel convicted.
Totally. They're like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't be eating this either. But yeah, one of my roommates was gone for basically these past 2 months, and she saw me for the first time the other day, and she was like, what happened to you? She was excited for me. She was like, oh my gosh, like, way to go. I didn't even know you were doing this. I didn't even know you were involved in this program. And that was of course a real confidence boost. And even though I know that I have a long way to go, or at least that's how I personally feel, that I have a long way to go, it's like suddenly to feel like my body is actually responding to something, that's the most encouraging thing. Even if nobody said anything, like just knowing that my body is responding properly has been like the biggest encouragement throughout this whole thing.
Wow. Well, I'm going to interview you again in about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
The next phase, it's so wonderful. I think the biggest reward for you is the fact that with the help of the Almighty, that you've had the power to say no to the things that would normally tempt people, and that is sugary things and sweets. And you made a decision, and you dedicated yourself, and you were disciplined. And so therefore the results are the blessing that you have and the health that you have. And then we're very grateful for doTERRA, for the products. They have the most amazing products, and the oils are so powerful. And the Lifelong Vitality Pack, I think it's really very good for core health, and it's providing your body with what it needs, energetically, and to build good, healthy cells. So keep going, girlfriend. Don't stop.
Definitely. Thanks.
Thank you for this recording and letting us share your story with people who need to hear this story. God bless you.
Of course. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, bye.